Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, and I'm delighted to be joined by Kevin McCluskey and Lloyd Patrick Jepson. We're talking Celtic 2, Livingston 1. What was your thoughts in the first 45, Lloyd?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with the way we've especially been attacking the ball. We seem to be putting Livingston under a lot of pressure and they're causing defensive mistakes. Been really impressed with the way Kuhn's started the game and also Maeda. But on a slight negative, defensively, we've not been there again, have we?
But good job. What we're up against Livingston, I think.
Well, I think so as well. But we need to focus on the positives. That's just the only negative so far of the half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going in 2-1 up, Kev, even when they got the equaliser, which we could pour over. It's such a poor goal to lose defensively. You're looking at the gap between AJ and Welsh. Welsh looks slow coming back, trying to recover that. It looks really slow. Great finish. Joe Hart's nowhere near it. Give the boy a bit of credit for the finish, though. But even when they scored, Kev, that wasn't a negative. I was actually leading into a positive. Even when they scored, I still felt pretty calm about it. I thought we've still got the quality, other than that, and a wee kind of daft exchange between Scales and Hart. We're going to score goals today. We're going to outscore them if necessary. If they score 2, we'll score 4. One of the type of games where we're doing enough, I think, offensively to win this game fairly comfortably.
Yeah, it's got that feel of like a Kevin Keegan, Newcastle, or Man City type team about it. Like
we'll just outscore them.
We'll just outscore them, and we will. When they scored, like normally you feel it inside, and you've got that. You feel down. You get the feeling in the pit of your stomach that you've just lost a goal, and it's horrible. I kind of felt the same as well when that one went in. Like we all said, 4-0, 2-0, 2-0. So none of us had Livy scoring. But at the same time, you just thought, that could happen today. But we'll get over it. We'll keep on doing what we're doing, hopefully, and it'll be okay. It's a horrible goal to lose, though, and we can't have this we'll just outscore them mindset for every game. But I think we can today. We'll get away with it. But it was a horrible, horrible goal to lose. Simple ball over the top. Gap between AJ and Welsh is criminal because the boy's got about 5 yards either side of him before he hits either of them. He's got all the time in the world when he gets through because Welsh is towing a caravan trying to get back and claim for an offside that's not there. He's got to play to the whistle. Give the boy credit. It's a really good finish once he gets there. But it's a terrible goal for us to lose. But unlike in other games, we haven't let it get to us. The heads didn't go down. We've just taken kick-off. We went right back up the park. We have dominated possession and chances since then with a few minor scares. But overall, you've got to say it's been a decent first half. We're 2-1 up. So let's not be overly negative about it. We could be if we wanted to be. We could pick holes in that, but let's try and pick the positives instead.
Absolutely, Kev. I'm all about that. Let's get some of the thoughts coming in from the stands. There you go, from the comments section there. The Kurgan. Maeda is Samson from the Bible. No hair, can't score. Grows it, scores 2 and plays a worldly. By the way, could have scored 3. We were discussing between us about what he should do with the hair now that he's got it. I'm going for kind of like a George Best, 1970s style. The big side choppers, the works. I think he would suit that. I'm not saying he's playing like George Best today, but he is having one of these better games. I think that first half, Lloyd, was all about the wingers. It's been all about the wingers, and dare I say it, it was custom built for Kyogo in the middle, and he's sitting on the bench.
Yeah, it has been. The wingers have been really good today so far. Kuhn sets up first goal for Maeda. I've criticised Maeda for his touch and everything before, but first touch brings the ball down, slots the ball away into the back of the net, so you can't really ask for much more back for that. So obviously with the second goal, it's a bit scrappy, but well, you'll take it. I don't really care how they go in the net, to be honest, as long as they go in and we're winning. But yeah, Kuhn looked a bit pacey, looked to be starting to beat his man. Final crossing, apart from obviously for the goal, could be a lot better. Maeda looks to be taking his man on all the time as well. So as long as we keep playing down the wings, then this game should be over and done with. in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Yeah,
But on that way, Ida, I took him off at half time and bring Kyogo on because the game's set for Kyogo.
it does seem to be set, and what I would say on that, I'm trying my best not to be negative at all, Kev. I don't think that there's really any need to try and pick negatives out of it. But Ida's not had his best first half, and I think there was 3 or 4 arguably chances that he was on the end of. Lloyd made the point he wasn't actually in the game for the first 25-30 minutes. What is Brendan going to do? Because this season we have seen him hooking players at half time. If they've not been up to scratch, they've been taken off at half time. Can you see him doing that today? In the knowledge that the wingers are playing a game that is pretty suited to Kyogo.
Yeah, he's done it before, so he's definitely got a history of having made the big calls at half time. We spoke at length about this last season. There were games where we would all have loved to have seen changes at half time, and Ange never did it. He was always sticking to his team for an hour, and then he would bring his changes. Brendan's been quick to make changes this season when he's seen that things haven't worked out. And I would think if he's watched the same game that 3 of us have watched, he'd see it's not worked out for either. It's just not his game today. And for the boy himself, just take him off and get Kyogo on. There's the 2 chances that he gets on 38 and then 39 minutes, both of them long balls over the top. One of them, it's almost reminiscent of the chance that Kyogo gets in the cup final against Hibs, where he dinks it over the keeper.
Yeah.
And you just think, if it's Kyogo, that's a goal. And then the other one, again, it's a beautiful cross that's played in. He's got it on the volley. He connects, but it's a poor connection. And you think, again, Kyogo, he finishes that. It's strange how we do this. No matter who is up front, we're delivering the right service for the wrong forward in every game this season. Because the amount of times we've spoken, if it was O that was up there, he's getting on the end of that. He's a physical striker at the start of the season. Then Kyogo drops out, and you're like, oh, Kyogo's up there. He scores that. We just can't seem to get it right. So maybe now just get him on for the second 45, and we'll create chances in the second half.
Yeah,
and I'd put my money on Kyogo to put them away if he's on there. So right. I wouldn't be surprised to see that being a change and make it at half time, because that's it's something Rodgers has done.
I want to open this up a wee bit further than today's game. You've got a situation where Kyogo's been the top man for 2 seasons under Ange. There's been moments this season where he's looked that player. And I keep mentioning this, the 2 big moments for me were at Ibrox and at Celtic Park in the 2 derbies. So on the horizon, just over that wee bump, you can see the next game against Rangers coming into view. It's at Ibrox. Peak Kyogo, I'm talking peak Kyogo this season in the derbies, Lloyd, or the Ida that we have seen over the last maybe 5 or 6 games where he started getting in amongst the goals. He's made a right good impact. By the way, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to write him off after one bad half of football against Livingston. But I am looking towards this Rangers game here. And I'm thinking to myself, are you confident going into that game with Ida up top? Or do you look back on the way that Kyogo plays against Rangers? The way that Kyogo plays against Hearts, and the thought process might have been the same going to Tynecastle, but it wasn't. What's your thoughts a wee bit more long-term here? Because I'm sitting here, I'm not fully... Listen, if I'm sitting at full-time and we've not got this job done, I'll be massively surprised, right? We'll discuss it as we always do. And that's why I'm kind of taking the focus away a wee bit further down the road. I'm looking at Ibrox, I'm saying, right, when do you bring Kyogo back in? When do you make sure that Kyogo isn't going to be sitting kicking his heels on a bench, not up to full sharpness? Because that guy is a weapon against Rangers, and he's shown it this season.
Yeah, he's a weapon at any times. It's like they're saying, peak Kyogo, even just an off-form Kyogo is still dangerous, no matter what Celtic side he's in or who the wingers are, because he can just crop up at the right time with goals. So you're wanting Kyogo on form, confidence. You know what he does. You know what he brings to that team. His work rate, his pressing, his movement. Defenders think he's an absolute nightmare in that league, because he can be. But once again, it comes down to service. And Kevin, Paul John, you're saying the right things. the game today is perfectly set up for Kyogo because he would be getting the right service out in that box. He would probably tap in about 3 or 4 goals easily today. But certain games have been set perfectly well for Ida. So if you're going to Ibrox in the future, which we will be doing in the next 4 weeks or so, you would hopefully come up with a plan where you're going to be playing the way it is today with the wingers, getting the ball into the box, across for Kyogo just to tap in.
Yeah,
you must do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, one of the biggest concerns actually has been the form of the wingers, Kev. But what we've seen in today in 2 players, one who we know all about. We know all about Maida, pre-hair, it's got to be said, but we know all about him. Kuhn, at the beginning of the game, we'll try to be as kind as possible and say we've not seen enough from him to merit a starting berth. And when I was going through the players that he had leapfrogged due to injury, etc., I never even mentioned Yang through suspension, etc., why he's not involved. But he's taking his chance in the first 45. And you think to yourself, listen, that's all we've got to go on at the moment, Kev. And you kind of hope that he can build on that in the weeks to come. And then you've got a situation when Palmer comes back from injury, Yang comes back from suspension, and you've actually got a good dilemma on your hands at that point on the right-hand side. But up top, if you were to look a wee bit further ahead than the second half of today's game, and you're thinking about Rangers, and some people might be losing their minds in the comments saying, what are you talking about? Listen, I just didn't want to go into Ibrox and get a performance like I've just seen from Ida. I want to go into Ibrox and I want the Kyogo that we've seen this season against Rangers to be in that starting lineup. Nothing against Ida. I've been fully praised for him. I think he's done a great job so far. But today shows that if your wingers are playing a slightly different game and it doesn't suit them, he can almost look like a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think we've got to talk about that game at Ibrox. It's coming up right from now because it's on the horizon. We've only got 2 more games before then, if I'm right. St Johnstone at home and Livingston away. Then there's the international break and we come back to them. So there is only 2 games. Kyogo's our best centre forward by a country mile. We need to find a way of getting him back into the team between now and then. We need to get him up to speed because you want to go, you have to go to a venue like that with your strongest team, with your best players available. Kyogo walks into our starting 11, I would say, most weeks. He should do. So get him on now for the second half for that reason in mind. The Ida experiment today isn't working. We're not playing to his strengths. Like Lloyd said, I think it was 30 minutes before he actually gets his first real involvement in the game. That might not necessarily be down to him or his fault. It's the way that we've played.
Absolutely.
He's actually done his best work outside of the box when he's drifted out and he's coming to that kind of outside right position. But right now, the way that we're playing, we need a centre forward, and Kyogo's that man. So I would get him in the team from now. I would get him back to match sharpness over the next 2.5 games, so that by the time we play them at Ibrox, he's firing on all cylinders again. He's a man for the big occasion. We cannot go there without him in the team, in my opinion. And yes, again, to expand on what you were saying about the wingers, I think they've both been really impressive in the first half. Kuhn especially so. It's the first time we've really seen him do in a Celtic jersey what he'd been doing in a Rapid Vienna jersey and been diving and taking his man on, being confident enough to do that. I'd love to see him on the left doing it, but I want to see him hit the byline and put a cross. And it's my one criticism about Kuhn today, and it's not even a criticism. It's just that he can't do it when he's on the right. But he's been really, really impressive. He's had a hand in both the goals, and obviously Maida scored both the goals. So, I mean, that's it's 10 out of 10 performances in a sense from the 2 of them.
Aye, absolutely. And a lot of the people coming in agree with you. It reminds me of Barry Roberts to look at. He's a cross between Barry Roberts and Henrik Larsson.
He's got the hair.
Absolutely. Leo McCann. Leo, this is why we're here. Stuck in Belgium with no radio coverage, so depending on halftime analysis. That's brilliant. I'm delighted to hear that. Absolutely delighted. So hopefully we've given you a wee insight into that first half. It's not been swashbuckling by any means, Leo, but we've done enough. And You know, it's one of the ones where even when Livingston scored, you kind of thought, all right, we kind of messed up there, let's go and score another, and you knew that you could unlock it. It's not one of these games where you're coming up against a rigid backline that we can't unlock, and a massive part of that is down to the wingers. The Kurgan, it's not been a bad first half. If Carter Vickers was on, we don't concede that goal, in my opinion. Ida looks a bit forlorn. Kyogo on for the second half. You agree with us? Maida and Kuhn pass match so far. There it is, in one comment. That is in a nutshell how the first half has gone. The Kurgan has explained it really well. For anybody who is struggling to get the footage on the airwaves or on the broadcast as well. So thanks everybody for getting involved. 1,200 strong on the halftime bulletin. Let's go back to the action for the second half. We'll see if there have been any changes, and we'll see it full time. Thank you all for getting involved, and thank you to Lloyd, Patrick, Jepson and Kevin McCluskey for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.